Masking in origami is a lot like other design tools, with the added bonus of being able to use masks to create advanced interactions and animations. We are going to use the Messenger Photo View interface, with the photo lightbox changing its border radius upon open and close as our example. If you haven't already, download the starting lesson files from this tutorial. Alright, so from those lesson files, you'll see that we've already set up our image to change its scale and position to turn into a lightbox upon tap. The last thing we need to do is set a changing border radius on the image itself. The image needs a large border radius in conversation, and then none when expanded to the lightbox. Image layers don't have a radius property. To create a radius on this image, we will need to use a layer that does have a radius property, such as a rounded rectangle layer, and then use it as a mask. Let's add a rounded rectangle by clicking on the new layer button, then searching for rounded rectangle, then press return. Alright, so let's just place this in the same group as the image. Okay, so we need to place it below our image layer because our image layer will be masked onto the rounded rectangle. To mask the image, we need to select the layer that we want to use as a mask, so the rounded rectangle. Go to the layer menu and choose Use as Mask. Our image layer directly above the rounded rectangle is now masked to the shape and position of the rounded rectangle. Changing any of these properties of the rounded rectangle will change the image as well. So let's change the size of our rounded rectangle to match that of the image layer, because we want them to be the same size. Alright, so the image is 375 by 250. I'm going to do the same thing here. So 375 by 250. And then fix the border radius to what it should be in conversation, which I know is 28. Okay, so we want that border radius to change to 0 when the photo is tapped and opened in the lightbox. We've actually already set this up with a transition in the patch editor so that it starts at 28 and ends at 0. The last step is to connect the transition to the border radius property of the masked rounded rectangle. The radius of our mask will now change, which in turn affects the image masked to this. If your prototype doesn't look like this, make sure you have your layers in the right order and have the rounded rectangle used as the mask. Keep an eye on these symbols next to these layers to see which ones are affecting which.